Our next presenter is from National Defense University of Ukraine, named after Chernyakhovsky Krikun, Major Krikun Victoria. She is PhD in Education, Senior Researcher of the Foreign Languages Education Research Center of the National Defense University, responsible for language test development according to NATO STANAG6001. She's a member of the International Scientific Project, Computer Adaptive Language Testing, CALT, within the framework of NATO DEEP program on the enhancement of military education, professional interest, adaptive language testing, and mixed learning technologies. So, Miss Victoria, the floor is yours. Describe your presentation briefly, and then we will continue because there may be many questions. I understand that you gave me the floor in Ukrainian so that I could be faster, but thank you very much for this opportunity to wonderful presentations. So your efforts are invaluable. I present our project, Computer Adaptive Language Testing, in the Defense University of Ukraine, with the involvement of international partners, NATO, DEEP. We had numbers of successful meetings that helped us to develop a product of quality, a foreign language test according to NATO STANAG 6001 standard on listening and reading. And again, thanks to the efforts of Ukrainian participants and international partners and your center, thank you for your support, because without advanced products, the methodology today would not part of our product went through the testing period, and it showed that, first of all, if we utilize adaptive testing, we would save resources and the test will be secure, because the tasks will not be distributed. There will be a single bank, and all participants in the testing gave positive feedback to this type of testing. If you want to know more, you can watch the video, because we are pressed for time now for more details. And I will also answer questions. Thank you. Thank you, Victoria. Would you have any questions? Because I know that we have people here that are connected with language, English language in particular. We have next two presenters, and we will be very interested in their experience. I have a question. I was involved in this project, so so you outlined very interesting aspects, and my first question, how many times did you test of this? We had 3 tests, approximately 154 participants, graduates of our foreign languages school. And also we improved software after each test to obtain better outcomes, because we respond to the feedback that we receive. Volodymyr, your question. So my question is, how obtain security of the test, and how will you prevent any leakage? so that the test takers would need to obtain answers. Thank you for your question. This is all implemented through the code function. Not everyone, even the test developer, has access to the administrator's information. Therefore, there are levels of uh, access. And also each session has an code of access. There are various levels of access to information. I'm more methodologist. I am not. I will not be able to answer technical questions. So you have different levels of access. I understand. Yes, it's okay. Thank you. Thank you for your interest in our project. We are also concerned about this issue because we are in our language center. In the Nango, we are also thinking about how to implement this distance testing, because there are many people who need to have their professional level identified and in the English language. So this is a complex process physically. In this case, you need to think about, for example, test takers. So you have to know about how to secure their environment. Yes, but what is the reliability? How would we know that the ID of this person test taken? So that they are not using any external materials or tips or some sort of external interpreter or peers, for example. You have to take this into account when managing this testing process. I consulted with the NATO Language Coordination Bureau, and they either use cameras, like watching you from all sides, to see what is going on, or if it is distant testing, then the organization will be responsible for ensuring all conditions and meeting all requirements. So you need having an online test to know what's going on around. There needs to be some sort of panel or commission signing off that they have ensured that everything is aligned with the requirements. Also, some technical issues. For example, the electricity is off or there is something else happening. Then you also need to keep for the program to keep records of what's happening, and also results such, for example, you need to also have video records of how the person was answering. From what I know, in the US, the armed forces, they have implemented distance testing, and they have offline testing. So would you have any information about how they implemented this? Because we have been trying to obtain some information, but haven't got any yet. About distant learning, I don't know. So it's not the most crucial distance testing for them. As for adaptive learning process. This is their intellectual property, and they would not disclose this information. So, and again, if we are using, then we have to mention who is the owner, for example. So if you have questions and also ideas about cooperation, so we are ready to
Ще якісь
respond. We will in the future.
камери може це якби привід для запитання, чи це просто бути присутнім?
So please.
Тоді я ще хочу задати питання, тому що
I have another question. Oh, there is another question. So no, all is clear.
ще от таке питання стосовно
So another question about further cooperation. A question to Victoria. How are you planning to use this product in the future? Is it only for university, or would you have a vision for how it's going to be used? Or maybe a National Guard of Ukraine will be interested. Will it be possible to use this product? Yes, this software project would be possible to be used. And again, there should be an agreement. But if it is within armed forces of the Ministry of Defense, then we are planning to implement computer-adapted centralized language testing, so that we take the responsibility and give everyone an opportunity to take this test. So it we may again discuss. You can discuss it with me. This computer adaptive learning, computer testing related issues, and we can think about how to move on. This answer. Any other questions? I think you can always message via the site, message Victoria, and you will have an answer, because this is an interesting issue and rather prospective, and just saving time on the testing and obtaining objective results from level 0 to level 3, I understand you provide. So on behalf of a member of this project team, I can say that the idea within the framework of DEEP program, that this program continuously improves, and then the product may be accessible for use by other countries. And then fill it in and use if you are interested. So we open to cooperation, ideas, and further improvements. Thank you, Victoria, for joining the conference.